She thought the game was hers, until the final move wasn't what she expected. I don't hear the front door when I come back. Maybe it's the carpet, or maybe I'm too focused on the weight of the grocery bags cutting into my fingers. It's late afternoon, the kind of golden light that softens everything except me. The house smells faintly of her perfume. Sweet, expensive, just a little sharp, like she always liked to be. There's wine, too. Red, heavy. A scent that lingers in the air like an unspoken truth. And then I hear her voice. I freeze halfway to the kitchen. She's in the living room, low and lazy, phone pressed to her ear. Laughing that slow, smug laugh. She saves for serious conversations, the kind that make her feel powerful. "Don't worry, I'll drain him dry," she says, just like that. The words drop like glass on marble, sharp, shattering, impossible to ignore. There's a pause. Then another voice, faint and warm with approval. Her mother. Good girl. No point in letting him walk away with anything worth having. The sound of it moves through me like ice water. The plastic bag handle digs into my palm until it snaps, and a carton of milk tumbles onto the carpet with a dull thud. They don't hear it. I don't move. Not panic, not hurt. Something heavier, slower, like cold steel settling deep in my gut. My first thought isn't denial. It isn't even anger. It's interesting. Interesting that she's so sure. So certain she's playing me like a cheap slot machine. I ease the remaining bags onto the floor. Careful, quiet. The hallway's blind corner hides me from the TV glow. My heart is steady now. Not racing, not frantic. Just focused. He'll probably whine about the money, but I've got it covered, she purrs. By the time he figures it out, it'll all be done. He won't even have a chair left to sit on. Her mother hums approval, like this is a recipe they've perfected together. Best to get it all at once, dear. Don't give him time to think. I almost laugh, but I don't wait to hear the rest. I pick up the bags again and walk toward the kitchen, deliberately making more noise this time, so she knows I've just come in. She glances up as I pass the living room, gives me a casual smile that doesn't reach her eyes, then lowers her, voice to a murmur. That night, she makes a show of it. We sit at the dining table, her in that silk robe she loves, glass of red in hand, the divorce papers laid out like a centerpiece. Her nails are perfect, always perfect. She slides the stack toward me with the confidence of a woman who's already won. "I think this will be easiest for both of us," she says lightly, almost rehearsed. "Sign, and we can move on. No drama." I look down at the papers, then up at her. She's waiting for the fight, for anger, tears, something to prove I still care. Instead, I pick up the pen. No hesitation, no deep breath, just ink to paper, neat and clean. I sign where she's marked and push them back across the table. Her eyebrow lifts. "That's it?" "That's it," I say, steady. Her smirk returns. "At least you're smart enough not to drag this out." I give her a small smile in return, polite, almost bored. Then I excuse myself, carrying the groceries upstairs like nothing happened. Inside, I'm not broken, not even bent. My mind is already clicking into place. Quiet, precise. Like turning a key in a lock. She thinks she's bleeding me dry. She doesn't know the well she's aiming for isn't even connected to my water. She doesn't know that every dollar she's about to hold in her hands is nothing more than scraps, and she doesn't know, will never know, just how patient I can be. Tomorrow, she'll wake up thinking she's won, and I'll let her believe it, because the easiest way to win against someone who's certain of victory is to let them walk off the cliff on their own. Morning light slides through the curtains like a quiet thief, soft gold brushing over the walls. She walks into the kitchen with damp hair and bare feet, humming something under her breath, a tune I don't recognize. She looks fresh, renewed, like someone who believes the worst is behind her. She doesn't even glance at me before reaching for the coffee pot. I'm already at the table, fully dressed, sipping from my own cup, scrolling through the news like nothing's changed. The signed agreement is in her hand when she turns, a bright smile curling on her lips. "We can file this today," she says. "No point in letting it drag on." I set my coffee down, lean back, give her a slow nod. "Sure, let's make it easy." That flicker in her eyes, the smallest hesitation, tells me she was expecting something else, resistance, a crack in my composure, a plea, but all she gets is indifference. "You can keep the joint account," I add casually. "I don't need it." She blinks once, just once, and then that smile deepens, slow and satisfied. "At least you're smart enough not to drag this out," she says again, like a mantra she needs to believe. I almost smile back. Almost. Instead, I rinse my cup and leave her standing there, barefoot and smug, clutching papers she thinks are her ticket to freedom and fortune. Later, we drive together to the notary. Her choice of music hums softly through the speakers, something airy, feminine, expensive. She talks about redecorating the house, about how she wants something modern, clean, fresh. Every word drips with victory. I nod like a man too tired to care. That's the role she needs me to play, the defeated one. The man who will fade quietly out of her perfect little life. What she doesn't know is that the foundation she's standing on isn't solid ground. It's ice, and I'm the one holding the match. The notary's office smells like ink and stale paper. She signs with a flourish, then slides the pen across to me. My name flows easily, each stroke precise. There's no tremor in my hand. When we walk out into the afternoon sun, she loops her arm through mine like we're still a couple. A performance for the world. To anyone watching, we look like two civilized people parting ways without a fuss. She doesn't feel the way my arm stays loose beneath hers, like I'm already somewhere else. Because I am. That night, the house feels different. Quieter, though. The silence is filled with her plans. She's in the bedroom on the phone again, laughing low, smug, satisfied. I stand in the hallway, leaning against the wall, listening. "He signed everything," she whispers. "Like a good little boy." Her mother's voice floats back faintly, warm with pride. "Told you he'd cave. You're in the clear, darling." I close my eyes for a moment, not because it hurts, but because it's almost too easy. When I walk in, she hangs up quickly, tossing me a smile. "Dinner?" she asks, like nothing's changed. "Sure," I say, my voice even. "Dinner sounds good." We eat in silence, save for the soft clink of silverware. Her gaze lingers on me a little too long, searching for cracks. When she doesn't find any, she leans back in her chair, sipping wine, trying to fill the silence with something resembling victory. "You're taking this better than I expected," she says finally. I meet her eyes. Hold them just long enough to make her wonder what's behind mine. "You always said I should surprise you," I reply. She laughs. "But it's thin, brittle, and for the first time today I see it. The smallest shadow of uncertainty slipping across her face. When she goes upstairs, I stay behind. Pour myself a glass of whiskey and step out to the patio. The air is cool. The sky a deep stretch of velvet pricked with stars. I take a slow sip and let the warmth roll through me like quiet fire. Tomorrow, I'll start the process. The one my father prepared for years ago. The trust he built like a fortress. The inheritance locked tight behind clauses she'll never break. She thinks she's stripped me bare. What she doesn't know is that tonight, in this stillness, I've never felt more powerful. And for the first time in weeks, I smile. Not for her, not for revenge, but for the inevitability of truth. By the time she realizes what I've done, it will be far too late. And maybe, just maybe, I'll let her see me smile then, too. Morning comes quietly, the way storms do before they break. Pale light filters through the blinds, painting stripes across the floor. I'm already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed, watching the space where she used to fit against me. She's still asleep, hair spilling over the pillow, lips parted, face soft in the kind of peace that only comes when you believe you've won. I should feel something. Anger, regret, maybe even longing, but all I feel is clarity. I dress in silence. A gray button-down, sleeves rolled neat, no tie. A suit would be too much. A declaration of war. Today isn't about theatrics, it's about precision. When I head downstairs, she stirs but doesn't follow. She thinks she has time. She thinks, I'm off to lick my wounds at some nameless office job, planning how to rebuild from the scraps she's leaving me. Let her think it. The city hums with its usual morning pulse, horns, footsteps, conversations spilling into the cool air. My car glides through it all like a shadow. I take a different route today, not the one that leads to the empty apartment she imagines for me, but deeper downtown, where the buildings rise like steel and glass giants, slicing the light into sharp edges. The address isn't new to me. It's carved into my memory the way some men carry prayers. The Caraway Building, letters engraved in stone above a set of polished bronze doors that have always opened for me. Inside, the lobby is hushed and deliberate. Marble floors, brass railings, air that smells faintly of lemon and old money. The receptionist looks up the moment I enter. Her smile is warm but tinged with formality. Good morning, Mr. Caraway. The attorney is expecting you. Mr. Caraway. Not the name she ever really knew. She wore it on paper, yes, like borrowed jewelry. But she never understood the weight of it. The elevator hums softly as it carries me upward. My reflection stares back in the mirrored walls, calm, composed. Not a man broken, a man about to reclaim what was always his. The office is sunlight and dark wood. My attorney rises from behind a desk that gleams like poured lacquer. He's older now, silver threading his hair, but his eyes are sharp. As ever, I understand you're ready to proceed, he says. I am. He gestures to the chair opposite his. I sit. The leather sighs under my weight. He lays a folder before me, thick, heavy, sealed with embossed lettering. Your father's instructions were very clear, he begins. No access while legally married. He believed in caution. I almost smile at that. Caution. My father's favorite word. To him, love was a fire best admired from a distance. Beautiful, but dangerous. I never agreed with him. Not until now. The folder opens with a soft whisper. Pages, lines, signatures, waiting, like silent witnesses. My name is printed on everyone. I pick up the pen, and for a moment, I pause. Not because I doubt, but because there's a strange intimacy in this act. This isn't just paperwork, it's a confession, a closing door, a vow I didn't want to make, but have to. I loved her once. God help me. Maybe a part of me still does. I loved the way her laughter filled a room, the way her hand fit into mine like something meant. I loved the dream we built together, even if it turned out to be a mirage. But love doesn't excuse betrayal. It doesn't erase greed whispered through a phone line when she thought I wasn't listening. The pen moves slowly, each stroke deliberate. My name flows across the page like water over stone, one signature, then another, and another. Each one feels like taking back a piece of myself she thought she owned. When I finish, the attorney slides a heavy envelope toward me. This, he says, tapping it with one manicured finger, is untouchable. Separate entity, separate accounts. She could spend the rest of her life in court and never touch a dime. I slip the envelope into my briefcase. The weight of it isn't money. It's freedom, legacy, the quiet, unshakable proof that I am not the man she thought she could break. She's going to be shocked, he adds, and there's a trace of something in his voice. Sympathy, maybe. Or satisfaction. I don't return the smile. Not because I disagree, but because this isn't about gloating. Not yet. This isn't about her, I say quietly, more to myself than to him. It's about me. About closing the door. But when I stand, briefcase in hand, something twists in my chest. A memory, uninvited and cruel. Her head on my shoulder the first night we moved into that house. Her whisper against my skin. We'll make this ours. We almost did. Almost. Thar. Elevator hums as it descends. My reflection watches me again, eyes darker this time. Harder. But behind that steel, a flicker of something softer still lingers. Not hope, not anymore, just the echo of what was. Outside, the city gleams under a hard blue sky. I step into the light, and for the first time in weeks, I feel it. Certainty. Solid and unshaken. She thinks I'm out here rebuilding. She has no idea I've just built a fortress. Tomorrow I'll see her again. She'll wear something calculated, sleek, sharp, meant to say, look what you lost, and I'll let her think it worked. Because the real checkmate isn't in the move you make, it's in letting them believe they're still playing the game. The restaurant is all soft shadows and curated warmth, the kind of place designed to make strangers feel like lovers. Low lighting, candles flickering in little glass cages, voices murmuring over polished tables. She chose it, of course. She always did like the illusion of intimacy when there was an audience to admire her. I'm here early, always early. There's something about owning the silence before someone else fills it. I take a seat with my back to the wall, where I can see the door, the sway of waiters moving like clockwork, the bar catching the glow of amber bottles. My whiskey waits in front of me, the glass sweating faintly against the linen tablecloth. And then she arrives, late, naturally. 10 minutes, maybe more. Enough for it to feel intentional. Enough to make an entrance. She's in a fitted black dress. That hugs like it has secrets. Gold jewelry glinting against her skin, lips painted in a shade that says, look at me, and don't you dare look away. Her heels strike the floor like punctuation marks as she walks toward me. She smiles like the winner in a photo finish. Thought we should celebrate being civilized, she says, as she slides into the seat across from mine. Her phone lands on the table, face up, glowing with the promise of texts she expects. Congratulations from friends who think she's pulled off the coup of the century. Civilized, I echo, my voice smooth, even. That's one word for it. A server glides in, menus appearing as if conjured. She orders something complicated without glancing at the price, her voice carrying just enough to be overheard. I stick with whiskey. Neat. Always neat. She studies me over the rim of her glass, eyes tracing for signs of ruin, the slump of shoulders, the sag of pride. Anything to confirm the story she's been telling herself, that I'm broken, small, crawling. From the wreckage of what she's done, I give her nothing. You're handling this better than I thought, she says finally, tone light but probing. You always said I should learn to surprise you, I reply, matching her calm. That laugh, oh, that laugh. Polished like cut glass, sharp at the edges. Well, you have. I'll give you that. For a moment, her gaze flickers down, catches on my hands resting loosely on the table. I wonder if she notices how steady they are. No tremor, no desperation, just stillness. Once we get the settlement check sorted, we can file with the court, she says, leaning in slightly, perfume blooming between us like a weapon she's too proud to sheath. I'm glad we're avoiding drama. You're handling this like a grown-up. You always wanted that for me, I say softly. and something in her face tightens. So small, so quick, most people wouldn't catch it. But I do. She wants me angry, wants the fight. Because anger would mean I still care. Silence? Silence is worse. Silence is absence, and absence terrifies her. You'll survive, she adds, tone dipping into mock sympathy. You've got your little paycheck, and maybe you'll find someone who appreciates that. The jab lands in the space between us like a knife dropped on velvet. I let it sit there, untouched. I cut into my steak with deliberate grace, chew, swallow, then lift my eyes to hers. Maybe, I say simply. She doesn't like that. I can see it in the way her jaw tenses, in the restless tap of her manicured nail against the glass. This isn't how it was supposed to go. I'm not playing my part. So she leans in further, voice low now, intimate like a dare. You know, I almost feel bad. Almost. And that's when I look at her, really look, at the perfect curve of her mouth, the sharp gleam of triumph in her eyes. God help me, she's beautiful. Beautiful the way fire is, right before it burns the house. Down. Don't, I say quietly, my tone a thread pulled tight. Don't lie to me. Not tonight. Something flickers across her face. Surprise, maybe. Or memory. For the briefest moment, we're not enemies sitting across a battlefield of linen and crystal. We're two people who once believed in each other, who once whispered forever into the dark. The silence stretches, long and fragile, like the pause before a confession that never comes. And then the spell breaks. The check arrives. I reach for it without hesitation, pull out bills crisp enough to look deliberate, leave a tip that makes the server's eyes widen. Her gaze lingers on the cash, then lifts to me, confusion threading through the certainty she walked in with. Why is the man she thought was broke leaving a tip like that? I slide the chair back slowly, the sound soft against the carpet. She expects me to lean in for the cheek kiss, the polite farewell of people pretending they're still friends. I don't. I take her hand instead, lightly, briefly. Her skin is warm, soft as I remember. Our eyes meet, and for a breath, there's something there, something dangerous. Good luck, I say, not sarcastic, not bitter, just final. And then I let go. On the sidewalk, the night hums around us, cars passing, voices spilling from doorways, the city alive with everything we're not. She hesitates before walking toward her car. I see it. The almost question at the edge of her lips, the tilt of her head like she wants to ask how. But she doesn't, because the story she's built for herself is too strong, and I don't break stories, I just rewrite them. The phone rings before sunrise. Not mine, hers. I'm not there to see it, but I can picture it. The way she stirs in silk sheets, sunlight bleeding pale gold through the curtains. The sound slicing through her perfect little bubble. She answers, voice thick with sleep and satisfaction. Maybe she even smiles, thinking it's someone calling to congratulate her again. But it's her lawyer. And the smile dies before it ever forms. I imagine the confusion first. The furrow in her brow, the sharpness in her tone when she says, "What? Do you mean the assets are gone?" Her voice rising as she sits up, clutching the sheet like it can hold her world together. She'll pace. She always did when she was cornered. He'll try to calm her, but the truth will land like a wrecking ball. The accounts are clean, the property's untouchable. Everything she thought she owned isn't hers. It never was, because while she was busy planning her victory, I was already 5 moves ahead. That trust she never knew about? Activated. Every clause, every condition my father built into it, airtight. And all it took was her betrayal to lock her out for good. By the time she's screaming, I'm already on the highway. The city shrinking in my rearview mirror, the kind of music playing that makes endings feel almost poetic. Do I feel guilty? No. Do I feel free? Not exactly. Freedom's a strange thing. It tastes a little like whiskey and a little like ashes. Because the truth no one tells you is that winning doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like silence, like the sound of your own heartbeat in an empty room. I stop at a gas station off the interstate, grab coffee in a paper cup that burns my palm. I watch the sun claw its way over the horizon, painting the sky in bruised pink and gold. And for a moment, I think of her. How she looked last night in that black dress, eyes sharp as broken glass, lips curved around a lie she wanted me to swallow. I wonder if she's crying now, or if she's still too angry for tears. Maybe she's calling me. Maybe my phone is buzzing in the console right now, her name lighting up the screen. I don't check. Instead, I think about what my father told me once, sitting on the porch in a heat that stuck to the skin. People show you who they are when they think you can't hurt them back. She showed me, and I believed her. That's the thing about love. It makes liars out of both of you. She lied to me about forever. I lied to myself about what we were. I take a sip of coffee that's too bitter and too hot and let it burn, because I need to feel something, anything. The road stretches ahead, endless and quiet, like a promise I don't know if I want. And maybe, just maybe, a part of me wishes she'd loved me as much as she loved the money, but she didn't. And now she never will. I reach for the phone, just once, just to see. The screen glows in the dim light. Missed calls, texts, her name over and over, like an echo that doesn't know it's dying. I don't open them. I don't reply. Because some stories don't need a last word. I put the car in gear, roll back onto the highway, and let the city disappear behind me like a bad dream I've finally woken from. The sun breaks fully, flooding the asphalt in molten light, and I say it out loud this time just to feel the weight lift. Good luck. Then I drive on.